everything ourselves, and we were struggling at the end, but we kept a cool head to make sure the actors were comfortable, to make sure that everybody was comfortable and ready to go, so that's where we could do a good film. I mean, it looks good, but behind the scenes, we were crazy. But yeah, it did take two months though, but they were very hard and very good, which I loved. I had a fun time with this, though I was really losing my mind after a while, but it was a good 2 months.
And did you have a budget for that, or did you,
Well, yeah, we had a budget, which was provided by the school, full sale. Everything was all provided, so that was a big relief of the budget, because it was a big budget. We had to go back and beg for more, actually, because we also had like a limited film, which we had to go back and beg for more, because those dance scenes, which we only had a few times to film, because the film would just load and then like stop, because we ran out. Because those dance scenes they seemed short, but they were long in film size. The dancing were like 2 minutes. The dancing were like 2 minutes, and the film would stop like at a minute 30. So that's where we had like 2 cameras rolling at the same time, just in case. But we actually had to go back and beg for more, and the crew and the school really helped us out a lot to get this done, because we really thought this would be a good thing to do and to keep on doing it. So and the school really helped us out with that.
are you going to do more projects much like this one, or are you moving on to bigger things? What's happening with you?
Right now, I'm basically doing the writer bit, because during this process of filmmaking, I really found that I was more of a writer. Because when I wrote this film, everyone was telling me, wow, it's a good script. So, and then the directing job was, don't get me wrong, I had a great time with it, and I truly love directing. But writing is just freer. You know, it has much more freedom, and to expand my imagination. So I'm sticking with writing. I was asked to rewrite a play that was in my hometown, El Paso. They were doing a musical, and they asked me to rewrite it for a film. I haven't gotten back from them yet, but I'm sure that I'll be hearing from them soon, because it's called Domestic Violence. The musical. It's a comedy. But it's an educational play, and they asked me to rewrite it for film. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm also trying to go back to school to get a master's in writing. But I do plan to go back to directing soon, because I do love it. But as far as this film, though, as making stories like this again, I do love making stories like this, because Tango is such a powerful and it's filled with such emotion that it has its own language. So, and plus, music is such a big influence for me as a writer. So I love to do something like this again. That I've actually written short stories on my own, basically on the same thing of just dancing and just talking with dancing, and especially tango.
You start a trend, maybe do some sequels. No. Alberto, Selena, is this it for film, or are you going to just continue dancing? What are you guys up to? Are you going to do anything bigger, better?
I think that I've always been in the direction of film and movies. I was in My Girl and Days of Thunder back then, and so I've always been in musicals and plays and commercials. I used to host TV shows. So I've always had a love for being on the camera, on that side of the camera. I've also been on the other side of the camera. I've also helped out on the behind the scenes, and I love that too. So I've kind of learned both sides, not maybe to the degree that he has. However, it's quite an education when you're getting the experience. So for me, this has always been a direction for us. We've actually appeared on TV quite a bit. We've performed on TV. We have reels and reels of things that we've done. We've just been invited to choreograph another dance scene for another movie coming later on this year. So I think this was a great door opener for us, as well as we have a couple of movies that we're writing ourselves. And so this will be a great door opener to lead us into other things. And there will always, I think, somehow be dance involved in ours because dance is such a storyteller. And although it may not be just always a silent movie with no words, dance is a very expressive dance, and tango just is the cream of the crop. It doesn't get any more expressive than tango for us. So absolutely, this was a great launch back into the whole movie realm.
It was very exciting. Again, we've been fortunate enough that we get to have been on TV and done a variety of different programs, our own television show, and we soon should be doing that once again. The movies that we have, this was actually gave us the, it was like a catapult to tell us, okay, now it's time for you to do a couple of movies that you have in mind. So we're really excited about it. To us, this is just the beginning. And I see no end here with this, if we're planning on.
You gonna direct those films, Ricardo?
They asked me.
We've got your number.
Yeah.
I think that definitely that's what we want to do. You know, we want to make a difference. We want to make a change. And yes, actually, you used the perfect name, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. And one of the things that we are doing is actually bringing a combination of two of the old style films together, where it'll allow us again to bring that wholeness, but again have a good moral to the story, and it's educational so that, you know, people get something good out of it. Because that's what's important for us. Right now, we know that we say that the children are 20% of our population, but they're 100% of our future. And how we educate them and what we put in front of them is what's going to make a difference in their lives. So I think one of the ways that we're going to work on impact, doing some impact there, is via the television, during film, to be able to bring the positive things back out so the kids can start changing the mind of thought that they're getting from the current violence and so forth that you were just mentioning.
One of the things that our commitment to each other and to our family is that we would never do anything in film, and they know this because we are very strict with the script. We did cut some things out of the script because it didn't go with our views. Like there were some scenes where he would be making out with Marissa. And like, we cannot do that. And he's like, no, because if our children are watching it, what are they going to say? And so we have an 8-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And the 4-year-old's always like, Mom, did you get Dad in the end? Did you win? You won Dad, right? Because we want to do anything that we do is something that we would be happy to show them. So we did cut some scenes out like that, and they weren't necessary to tell the story. So we cut them out, and all of the films that we do would always be something that would be wholesome. And for anything that we create personally, it's to have a message, to have the morals and the values brought back into film and television, because it's so impacting how it triggers the mind and trains the mind. And Fred Astaire, he retired from Fred's after 18 years. He was a corporate trainer, everything, you name it, he did it in the Fred Astaire organization, and including owning his own franchise. So the Fred Astaire movies are, of course, a favorite and played often in our house. And so we would love to combine some of that old-fashioned glamour, glitz, flair, grace, you know, positiveness, the clean love stories with some comical attributes. And that would be something that we would have a ball with in one of our projects.
Just one quick question. How many of you would like to see that type of a movie again? How many of you would like to see those type of movies? Just about everybody's hand in the audience went up. Good.
And I do agree with you guys and the guy over there, hello, that there should be a change of style in the film industry, especially in television, because like you, sir, I'm also tired of seeing the same thing over and over again in the films. It's very rare that we see a good movie that comes out, especially something that's new and unique, you know. So I do think that we should, which in my mind, I do wish to have a big influence among the future generation to make new movies, to make stories that really fulfill their imaginations. Because I do think us as a people really need like new movies, new style movies for every a genre, like the action movies, more adventure stories, more romantic stories that stop being so poor, being so dull, basically, because we're tired of seeing the same thing over again, and plus the sequels too, and the remakes. Because I strongly believe the only reason why we're seeing